Rest in peace, Wesley Shepard.
He would have pointed his finger and it would have blew something up and he's like, I have superpowers, bro. He's going to kill them and then he's going to take them
I
out.
disagree.
What?
I disagree. Ain't no way you ran over a child's remote control car and kept going.
Your idea was beans. Go get the beans and throw those at Tuco or something.
Beans are the idea of somebody who hasn't had their ass beat by Tuco Salamanca.
Life, Death, and Dopeboys. Welcome to the show. My name is Indy, joined by Justin.
Howdy.
We just watched episode 1 of season 2. We're finally in season 2 of Breaking Bad. Yay, yay, yay. Please be prepared for spoilers for the entirety of Breaking Bad. So yeah, this is the one where Walter gets kidnapped at the end. The whole no-dose situation. And the paranoia begins. You know, very justified.
It escalates quick.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into it.
Life, Death, and Dopeboys, Episode 8, Rice and Beans.
The episode starts with some old school black and white footage showing us this chill backyard scene. We're cruising with the camera and out of nowhere we peep a toy eyeball bouncing around in the pool. Like, what in the world, right? Then we get the first glimpse of that damn teddy bear that we had to wonder about for a whole last season. And you always was wondering, like, what happens? And in my opinion, it's kind of anticlimactic. I mean, I was expecting something like, I guess a plane crash is like really dramatic and
you never really feel the gravity of the plane crash, in my opinion. It comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't really seem like it has real consequences. I don't remember what happens as a result of the plane crash, how it affects the whites and their situation.
All I remember is he gets like pulled over for having a cracked windshield or something that one time and winds up getting taken to jail, I think. And then Hank has to bust him out. I can't remember exactly what happened, but yeah, the plane crash is kind of just something that happens, even though it's a season finale thing. I don't know, maybe the show just
Season 2 is weird to me. Having the realization that like they beat Tuco and Jane in the same season doesn't make sense to me.
Tuco comes back raging into the junkyard with his SUV. He's fuming and he tells Walt to bring No-Dose back to life, who's knocked out cold. But man, Walt can't do anything, and unfortunately, No-Dose ends up dying right there. He's convulsing.
Yeah, it's not good.
And was like Walt says that he's dead. There's no heartbeat, but he's convulsing still when he says that. So like, is that?
I'm not sure.
No-Dose's actor is just really bad at acting.
No, maybe you can have.
There's no heartbeat, and he's like.
Maybe you can have no pulse, and your body is still like doing weird twitches after.
Yeah, I can see that.
I see why not.
I don't see why not, but I also like to believe that No-Dose's actor is just really bad at acting dead.
Maybe he's really good at acting as if he's dying, and that's. I've never watched somebody die. Maybe they.
Yeah, because like even when they pull him out of the car, he's already
like foaming at the mouth and stuff. What if that was just acting?
I
should drool a little bit.
Gonzo, Tuco's other henchman, suggests giving his buddy a proper burial, but Tuco ain't having it. He orders them to hide the body under a bunch of old cars instead. Gonzo like tries the door first, I noticed. And it's like, knowing what I know now, you know, after watching the episode a bunch of times, I know that he wants to come back for No-Dose. So I kind of see him trying the door as a way for him to like find a place to put him where his body would be safe till we can come back later. The door is locked, so he has to put him under. And then there's like the little sand that falls on and kind of like hints that
shit's gonna fall.
Yeah, I've never noticed that before either. But it's very intentional.
I don't understand how his arm,
I've
seen it. His arm is like caught in the wheel well. It looks like.
Yeah,
it looks like it's just pressed that shit. But why was his arm ever there? You're reaching under the car to grab a dude. Why was your arm? How was his arm ever stuck up here? I don't understand. Unless like in getting down on his knees, he put his arm there to like support his weight.
Yeah, while he like reached
and
under.
Then the car falls.
I don't know.
Your heavy ass pulled the cars down on yourself.
Oops.
Oof.
Yeah. I don't know. He should have been more creative. I think after I saw the car shift while I was putting him under there.
I would have moved him.
Yeah.
Immediately, right then.
Right then. I'm not putting him there. As Walt and Jesse try to leave, Tuco ain't done with him yet. He got some questions as to why they're trying to dip out. They think their business is done here, right? But Tuco is ice cold and he tells them straight up, "You're done." No room for negotiation. After watching it this time, I'm like, nah, that's a straight.
Knowing how crazy Tuco is, especially like going back and watching Better Call Saul and shit, and like knowing how truly crazy Tuco is, it was like very poor choice of words. We're done here. Like Walter should have just said, Tuco made that decision right then. Right then is when Tuco decided, yeah, you guys are done. Thanks for giving me the idea. Yeah, you're done.
Because he wasn't just like, yeah, we're done. He was like, turned around, got all up in his face.
That's a good idea. Done.
As a matter of fact.
He's like, what are we going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Where are you guys going? We're done. You're done. That's right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Go think of that.
Perfect.
I think the fact that
where are you guys going? Well, we're leaving.
Which they like cartoon style, like are trying to slide out of there. Like, yo, we got to get. I would have been going way before that. As soon as Tuco's back was turned, this dude was trying to hide the body. I'd be like, hey, Jesse, let's get the fuck out of here. Ain't no way I'm hanging around. Next thing he's gonna hear is my car starting up.
I agree.
So Walt comes back home all cautious, and then out comes Skyler from the back rocking an avocado mask, doing that self-care thing. She finds Walt randomly just flipping through TV channels, looking lost and confused, like a horror movie villain. Skyler's like, what's going on with you? She's trying to figure out what's up. And Walt pretty much forces himself on his wife, and it's very uncomfortable to watch. Way out of character for Walt.
One of those things that gets glossed over. Everybody talks about how in all the Breaking Bad groups that I've had the pleasure of joining and conversing with people.
Yeah.
People like to skim over all the terrible things that Walt does. No one ever brings this up for some reason.
Probably because it doesn't become like a consistent character trait for him. It's like seen, I think, and because of that, it's like seen as like a mistake.
Man, Skyler gets shit for spite fucking her boss one time, and everybody just completely glosses over the fact that season 2, Walt tried to force himself on her. Walt finds out he has cancer, and it's the end of their marriage. Like, let's be real.
Walt goes to chill in the backyard, taking a breather by the pool. Skyler joins him, and she's understanding of the situation, but she ain't having him taking his frustrations out on her. She lays it out straight like, nah, bro, you can't do that.
We don't do that.
And she doesn't have very many. We talked about this while we were watching the episode. She's a very non-confrontational character. She doesn't have very many confrontations.
Passive-aggressive.
She's passive-aggressive. But this is actually like a scene that she wins a lot of my respect for, is that like she doesn't really even give him time to kind of think about it much. She comes right out. Like, she doesn't clean off the avocado mask or nothing. Like,
I feel like you'd have to address this
right away.
This needs to be addressed immediately.
She's like, all right, let's go out there and tell this dude what it is. And she has no way of knowing what actually is the problem with him. We don't really understand even why Walter did this as the audience.
Nope. It's never resolved. It's one of those things.
So
he was in a fugue state.
So Jesse's out here buying an illegal gun at a fast food joint called the Doghouse. He's all paranoid, thinking this dude Tuco wants to off them because they saw him kill No-Dos.
He's right.
He's probably right.
Yeah, he's right.
He's right. And
going to get a gun is the right thing to do.
So Jesse's all like, we should hit him before he gets to us. Walt's like, calm down, bro. Let's think this through. He makes Jesse go through this whole plan of how he'd take out Tuco and his crew, and he points out all the issues with it. He's like, man, your plan is whack, dude. And then Walt even questions if Jesse's got the guts to do it. Jesse's like, yo, you did it, so why not me? And Walt's just like, yeah, I did, but it wasn't easy. I think that, like, all right, so Walter's not wrong, but I do question his motivations for this whole putting Jesse through the questions. Oh, how you're going to do it? You're going to just hold the gun like this? You're going to pull the trigger, what, 2 times, 3 times? What are you going to do? Because Jesse has not touched that gun since he bought it.
No, he can't even open the fucking chamber to put bullets in.
Oh, this is, it's probably got five rounds, and you can't even get the thing open. So is Jesse qualified to pull a gun on and shoot Tuco and his dudes at the drug meet? Probably not.
No, he'd have gotten killed. But Walter is already trying to groom him for it. That's why he quizzes him that way.
That's what you think? He's like...
Yep.
Because I think that Walter thinks that Jesse is being, like, rash. Like, he thinks that Jesse is acting desperate and is going to do something that gets them both killed. And so he doesn't want Jesse to try and kill him with a gun, and that's how the whole Ricin plans comes, because he's trying to find like an alternative to that.
Maybe. I think you're giving Walt too much credit this time.
Maybe.
He sees Jesse pull out a gun and goes, oh, Jesse's going to kill Tuco.
Maybe, all right, so maybe he is alarmed. Maybe he is like frightened or something, and Jesse just like reacts to fear differently than Walter does. But we've seen what Walter acts like when he's really scared. Mm-hmm. He's still not taking this threat seriously. Meanwhile, Marie calls Skyler trying to get her to come to dinner or something, but Skyler's ghosting her and not picking up the phone.
I completely forgot about Marie.
You just push all the Marie scenes out of your brain.
Who cares?
Skip it. Skip the Marie stuff. Marie leaves this long voicemail, all probably wondering what's up with her. I think I'm lightweight convinced. I think that Marie has something going on, some sort of dissociative disorder, to where she's actually convinced herself that she's not doing anything wrong or that she's innocent. Like the way that she talks to Skyler in season 1 after Skyler confronts her about stealing the tiara. I'm like, Marie, like everyone can tell that you did this.
Mm-hmm. Even the conversation she has with Hank in this episode, like when he's trying to talk to her about therapy, she's like, like it doesn't matter to her. Therapy isn't a thing for her because she doesn't think anything's wrong. I hate Marie.
Then Hank reminds Marie about her therapy appointment at the same time, and she gets all defensive like, nah, you're wrong, Hank. And she speeds off in her car and ends up running over some neighbor kid's RC toy. Definitely on purpose.
She did that shit on purpose.
Definitely on purpose.
You could have stopped and let him get his car or anything. Like,
yeah, you could have like
drove
around it.
You live in a cul-de-sac. This kid is in the cul-de-sac playing with his remote control car. You saw him. You saw him.
People do that though. Like this, I remember this one time.
I think that's another example of her dissociating and absolving herself of wrongdoing, because ain't no way you ran over a child's remote control car and kept going. Like you weren't driving in traffic or anything. You were at a stop in front of your house, drove over the neighbor kid's car.
Like swerved in order to hit it.
Ran over the neighbor child's toy and kept it moving. Like you had...
Couldn't have not run over that.
You saw them.
The kid's just sitting there like, her aim is nice though. Like
she did that on purpose.
Yeah.
You'd have to. Your aim would have to be nice to do it on purpose.
She's done it before. But all right, then there's this other scene where Gomez shows Hank some grainy surveillance footage of a break-in at a chemical warehouse. They're pulling off some shady stuff, but Hank's just laughing, calling them bad burglars. He does give them props for their chemistry skills, though, because they're cooking up meth old school style and blowing up blocks with thermite. He recognizes the chemistry prowess of these dudes who robbed a industrial chemical plant, and he still isn't connecting the dots. Like,
no, because nobody makes meth like that anymore.
Nobody makes meth like that anymore, but like...
I think that Hank's thought process at this point is on point.
You really think? Like...
Yes. I'm more impressed that Hank immediately recognizes what that chemical is, and you know what I'm saying?
No,
people don't use that to make meth anymore.
P2P. They're cooking old school biker meth. But who else still does that?
I understand.
He's very knowledgeable about like his
the DEA. I guess you have to be. I think it's like with Jesse, how the show has to remind us sometimes that Jesse isn't an absolute idiot.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Hank, because you see him so often being an absolute idiot.
And then like Gomez says like it's probably college kids. Gomez is a terrible fucking cop, man. Gomez, because last time we used the Gomez excuse, like when Hank went to visit Walt at the school about the missing mask, the stolen mask, and did an inventory on his supply closet.
I still think Gomez should have been there. Yes.
I've lost a little bit of respect for Gomez's detectiving.
Gomez, more so than Hank, has no reason to think that it's Walt, especially at this point, because he wasn't there at the lab with Hank that day. I think it could be some bold-ass college students. There's no reason to think that Walt is the dude who went in there and stole that shit. Like, Walt is is responsible for the disappearance of the science equipment in the school. Okay, maybe. There's only 2 people with the key. Walt's one of them, sure. Walt used thermite to break into this lab to steal a giant jug of methylamine? Nah. No way.
You're now watching Life, Death, and Dopeboys.
Are you basing that on that he's got like a normal, healthy brain or something? Did you not see him beat a dude to death for like nothing?
I've got a better idea. Beans.
Beans.
I can see that. I can see that side of things because they're building this profile of like a young person. They've decided that he must be young.
Mm-hmm. Because everybody else who would make meth with methylamine is in prison or dead. It's old school biker meth is what Hank calls it, I believe.
That's exactly what he says. I don't know. Viewers, you tell us.
Yeah.
You know, would this make you suspect Walt, or do you feel like he's still on the outside of the profile? Like, tell us what you think. It doesn't end there because Walt's got some shady SUV parked outside his house watching him. That thing pulls off though, all slow with its headlights off, and that tips Walter off that he's up in somebody's crosshairs in a major way. And he finally starts taking Tuco's threat seriously.
You're done.
Skyler wakes up to an empty bed, and it turns out Walt spent the whole night creeping outside, watching the street, rightfully paranoid.
At this point, yeah.
The phone rings and he jumps up like it's the end of the world, but surprise, surprise, it's Justin's favorite character, Marie, calling. Skyler picks up the phone, but she in the mood for Marie's drama, so she hangs it right up on her.
I feel like it's another element that makes this feel like a season finale. It's the inevitable build-up of all of the bullshit that Skyler has to deal with throughout season 1, and it's finally addressed in the first episode of season 2. It truly feels like this was meant. I don't know what happened. This feels like it was supposed to be the season finale.
And all right, so like season 1 of Breaking Bad had 7 episodes. It was really short. It's kind of like
every other season has
13, except for the final season, which has 15. But like,
Tuco should have just been season 1. But I can understand maybe they weren't sure of the success of Breaking Bad with the first season, and they just wanted to test it. But it really seems like something must have happened where season 1 ended before it was supposed to, because season 2 still feels like season 1. This still feels like season 1.
Yeah.
Until Tuco dies, it still feels like season 1.
There's not even like a new. You know how at the beginning of a new season of television, they're usually starting from a new status quo. There's not one.
Bro, it takes place. It doesn't even take place after the season finale. It's like
it starts on the same in the same scene.
Yeah. We're still dealing with characters and events from season 1.
Yeah, none of those like through lines, none of those narrative structures are wrapped up, in a bow yet. Everything is still kind of out in the open. Later on, Walt gets all confrontational with Jesse about the shady stuff that went down the other night. He's asking if Jesse spilled the beans to Tuco about him. Jesse denies everything, but he warns Walt that Tuco is about to make a move. Jesse feels like they should be strapped, but Walt's always got some crazy idea. He suggests using castor beans to cook up ricin, a poison they can slip to Tuco. Does this seem more complicated than Jesse's idea?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, when are we going to get close enough to administer a secret poison to this dude? And even still, all right, cool, Walt, you have this secret poison idea. You should still get a gun. Like, get a gun for your own protection, Walter. Because if Tuco pulls up on you, you're not going to be able to...
All right.
Hey, so by the end of this episode, if Walter had a gun, he could have just splattered Tuco's brains all over the back of Jesse's car like John Travolta in Pulp Fiction.
If either of them had a gun. All right.
Yeah, because Walt takes Jesse's gun. It's probably how Jesse gets caught in the first damn place.
So Walter has this plan for making ricin meth for Tuco to sample.
And what if that doesn't work? What if it didn't kill him? If it just made him real sick and he got pissed off?
You are planning to kill Tuco. Chances are Tuco's also planning to kill you. There's no way y'all are showing up to this next meth deal and Tuco's gonna snort some of your meth. No, like that's not.
I don't put anything past a drug addict, man. Tuco's a drug addict before he is most anything else.
But if Tuco is planning to kill Walt and Jesse, which I believe that he is.
Yes, I do too. You're giving me a handful of a really strong hype kill people drug. Like Tuco already,
he's gonna kill them and then he's gonna take them.
I disagree.
What?
I disagree.
What?
I disagree because he is a meth addict. I think they're going to give him a bag of meth and he's gonna go tight. like, yeah, yes. Yes.
So you think that this plan would actually work?
My only reservation is what if the Ricin isn't strong enough in the meth to have killed him?
Well, he's also a Nobel Prize winning chemist.
Because do I think Tuco would do it immediately? Yes. I don't think
like
Tuco's
if I was
not that type of person.
if it was
crazy as he
it was me and you, right? And my plan was to, all right, next time I see Justin, he's gonna try and kill me, so I have to kill him first. I'm not gonna do some roundabout sneaky. I guess I'm gonna have to make him smoke this Ricin weed in order to, because you would just kill me and then take the weed. At least that's the way I think about it. Knowing what I know, I feel like this plan is weak.
I don't have to smoke the weed to see its potency. I don't know. Weed isn't painfully addictive like meth is.
There's
no amount of potheadedness is gonna make me as addicted to weed as Tuco is to meth. Because he's addicted to meth.
Yeah, I think there's some false equivalencies, yes. But
I think that is the driving force in his actions, though.
Is the meth.
Yes.
Is doing the meth?
Yes, just in general.
Because if you think about it, when Walt pulled up with the mercury fulminate, he didn't test that meth. And he had it right there. He was holding it with his knife in front of him, looking at him.
I wonder why maybe he just gets caught up in conversation? I don't know.
He does not try that meth right away.
I guess you're right. Good thing, too.
His head would have exploded.
They've been like, what the fuck? This is meth? Kill this motherfucker.
He would have pointed his finger and it would have blew something up and he's like, I have superpowers.
Or no, maybe because of the way that shit worked, do you think him crunching it?
Oh my God, probably. It would have just exploded, blew his arms off.
He's like, hey, wait, no. He's like, I'm doing some of this meth, bro. What are you talking about? My thing is too. What do you put the Ricin in the whole batch?
Later on. Because so it's not just the meth, and I have proof now. When they get to like close to the border, they're in the desert. He's got them in that shack with Hector.
Yeah,
and they like offer him the Ricin meth, but Jesse fucks up and says that it has chili powder in it, and he's like, I don't like chili powder, so he doesn't do the meth. If he was really that big of a meth junkie, bro, he would have done it anyway, just because it was meth.
I guess he's not that big of a meth junkie. Plus, I don't know. Maybe he just likes a better quality meth than that, bro.
He tried the blue meth, and it's just like, nah, I don't fuck with chili powder meth no more.
Not even that, bro. You put chili powder in it, like I feel like even before the blue meth, Tuco, no, bro. Why are you putting? Yeah. Like Jesse was doing some bottom of the barrel. Like Jesse should have never been doing that. That's gross. Like what the fuck?
Perhaps. Hank rolls up to Skyler's crib, and she's suspicious, thinking Marie sent him. He denies it and says Marie ain't even talking to him. He asks Skyler to return Marie's calls, but she's got her own problems to deal with. She spills the beans about Marie's shoplifting issues, but Hank already knows and says Marie's getting help and needs their support. Skyler ain't having it though. She goes off listing all the messed up stuff she's dealing with. Pregnancy, her husband with cancer, a moody son, her husband's a broke boy, and she's got a busted water heater. Speaking of the water heater, because in episode 1, Walter Jr. is the one who complains about the water being cold.
Buy a new hot water heater. How's that idea? For the billionth time.
Where the fuck is Walter Jr.?
What you mean?
He's not in this episode. Have we seen him?
I mean, Walter Jr. is a high school student.
He's just at school?
No, we're just not home.
He also lives in a household with Skyler White. There's no way he's just like...
There's no way that...
He's a cerebral palsy kid.
Yeah, so she probably knows where he is. That's not important to us. We don't need to know where he is.
He's just not in the show. He's just not.
Yo, he is 16 years old. His mom is really naggy. He's dealing with all sorts of fucked up shit at home right now. It's realistic that we don't see Walter. He's out with his friends. He doesn't want to be at home.
Nah, I can dig that.
It makes sense to me. If I had to play devil's advocate for Walter Jr. and give him a reason to not ever be there, that's why. He's out with his... They could do, even if we wanted to address, hey, where's Walter Jr.? Oh, he's out with his friends. All right.
That would be enough.
Moving on.
Valid. Meanwhile, Jesse and Walt are cooking up that Ricin plan. They're going to offer it to Tuco mixed in with their new batch of meth. Jesse's worried that Tuco might notice something off, but Walt says Tuco will snort anything without thinking twice. But Walt thinks, all right, we had this whole conversation on the last point. Let's moving on.
Yeah, I think they both just don't think highly enough of Tuco.
That might be it.
Especially, I think Walter thinks less of. Walter has like a fucking superiority complex.
That's
bro.
what it is. It's a superiority complex. He thinks he knows, but Walter, for real, you do not know.
He doesn't know shit about any of these people, and he thinks he's better than all of them throughout the show, throughout the entire show. He thinks he knows better. And I think at this point, they have no reason to think he's nothing but a crazy drug addict. From what they've seen of Tuco, of course, he'll snort anything. The whole chili powder thing was probably a huge shock to both of them.
Yeah.
Fuck. He doesn't want to do the chili powder. This isn't appealing. Huh.
Tight. Then Hank calls Walt from a crime scene, apologizing for trying to patch things up between Skyler and Marie getting in the middle of things. He's laughing while sending Walt a picture of these dead bodies, No Doze and Gonzo, which they found at the junkyard. Walt and Jesse see the pic and it freaks him out big time. They think that...
You said Walt and Jesse. Jesse doesn't.
Jesse doesn't see the pic?
Mm-mm.
No, he's in the scene. Like over his shoulder. They both see the picture.
Are you sure?
I'll put it on the screen if it's true. If it's not, then
I could have sworn he's at home already. Fuck. My memory of the whole shit might just be off.
Because this is the scene where he takes the gun. They see the picture.
Oh, and then he's like, then he runs against the gun. Yeah, you're right.
Straight to the cabinet where Jesse's got the gun. Like, Jesse doesn't have a chance
to take the gun that he said he didn't need.
Oh, now you want the gun. They also never reached like a... I noticed this about pretty much the entire season or series of Breaking Bad. With the exception of Gus's operation, there's no long-term status quo in any of Walt's moves. It's at least the ones that he tries to have control over. But one example is at the end after he kills Gus and he's finally at the quote-unquote top of the meth game. He doesn't stay there for very long. Like, they do the one train robbery and then shit falls apart because they killed a kid. And then this is another example of that. They did 2 meth deals, and on the second one, everything went to shit. And now they essentially are going to have to start over from square one if they're able to make it out of this alive.
My biggest beef with this show is how the whole Gus situation is handled. We should have never seen evil, scary, cutthroat Gus talking about, I will kill your wife, I will kill your son, I will kill your infant daughter. We should have never seen that dude.
Why do you feel like that?
Because Gus or Walt should have just kept his mouth shut and just went to work. Like, the whole Gus situation was the most stable point.
And I think, you know what? Maybe that's how they kind of like emphasize that, because everything else falls apart as soon as it gets to the point where he wants it to be. Gus is the only thing that remains stable while he's in it. All right, Walt ain't messing around no more. He snatches Jesse's gun, all about protecting his family. Jesse ain't feeling it, begging to keep the heat, but Walt's not coming up off it. Begging. He orders Jesse to hit the road, leave town, and that's exactly what Jesse does. He grabs a bag full of cash and takes off while Walt speeds back home.
You think Tuco's already in Jesse's car?
Wouldn't that be some shit?
Like, you see Jesse like
grab the money and head out.
How does Tuco get Jesse at that point? Unless he like heads him off on his own at some point else.
And then like hops in. I don't know. Yeah, probably something like that. Like, because he's got to, at this point, he knows where Jesse lives. Because he knows where Walt lives. Mm-hmm. Because he had somebody follow him home. Mm-hmm. If he didn't do it himself. Mm-hmm. So like, he must, if he doesn't get to Jesse before Jesse leaves the house, then he probably gets to him later while he's trying to leave. Don't know how.
He'd have to have been posted waiting for him.
He'd have to have been waiting for him, or at least waiting for him enough to like follow him after he left the house.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, when Tuco, by the time Hank has called Walter and is showing them these pictures, Tuco is already sitting in Jesse's car with his gun, just waiting.
Because Walter's not home for a long time before Tuco pulls up with Jesse at gunpoint. Mm-hmm. He's not there for long.
Mm-mm. And I figure Walter left Jesse's house and went straight home. Jesse packed up his money, jumped straight in his car.
And then got jacked.
Tuco's in the car already. I can't think of another explanation. Tuco's already in Jesse's car. Like when Walt and Hank are having that conversation in the house.
Like Jimmy the Lock.
Yeah.
Got up in there. Damn. And then, yeah, it's like, oh, okay, well, now guns are a good idea. I would have been like, bro, go get your beans. What do you mean? Go get the beans.
No way in hell I would have let Walter White leave the house with Yeah, we're fighting them.
Yeah, I might wind up shooting you because you're not going nowhere with my only weapon.
That I bought to protect myself.
Your idea was beans. Go get the beans and throw those at Tuco or something.
Beans are the idea of somebody who hasn't had their ass beat by Tuco Salamanca. So you take your beans.
All right, we need to be protected from a drug lord. Let's go get weapons to protect ourselves. If you came back with some beans, bro,
I'm the dude who didn't get his ass whooped.
I'm like, well,
obviously
you good with them beans then.
Obviously, you've met Tuco and he whooped your ass, and that's why you got a gun. I've met Tuco and I blew up his office. So I think I can beat him with some beans.
Beat him with science once. I can probably beat him with science again.
There's no way in hell I'd have let Walter leave the house with my gun.
Not even.
No. I'd have tackled that man. No.
I would have chased him.
Yeah.
I would have gotten his car with him.
Yeah, bro.
I guess we're going to your house. Because I'm not going nowhere. I'm going wherever that gun goes, bro. Hell no.
Right? Just get in the front seat with your bag. Like. So where are we going?
At the crib, Walt calls out for his family, but it's quiet. Nobody answers. He's all tense, gripping the gun, and starts searching the house. Finally, he finds Skyler chilling in the tub. Junior is supposed to be at his friend Lewis's crib for dinner. Okay, that's where Walter is.
Yeah.
That's where Junior is. He's at Lewis's crib.
Kicking it with Lewis.
Who? All right. Whatever, because that's not the only time that Lewis comes up.
He's his best friend. Fine.
We never even meet this. I guess we don't have to. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Skyler asks where Walt's been, but instead of spilling, he goes straight to pull from his stash of drug money from the vent. He frantically hides it along with Jesse's gun in a box of diapers. And what is Walter going to do with that box of diapers? It seems like such a desperation move.
Yeah, like, what is he, packing it up to take it somewhere, or is...
What are you, I mean, all right, so if the plan is to run away, to escape, get your wife, and get the hell out of there, just put it in a duffel bag, bro. Like, what's with the diaper box?
I don't think that's Walter's plan.
What do you think his plan is?
I don't know. But his plan is never to upend and disrupt his family life, ever. The whole time.
But when he's in a desperate situation, like, for instance, episode 1, and he thinks that it's over for him, he records that message on that camcorder, like, oh, this is my last will and testament. I'm Walter White, and this isn't a admission of guilt, blah, blah, blah. And he's, like, saying his goodbyes to
a lot has happened since
like,
then.
He panics, though. Panicking Walt thinks like this. And it happens again, like, where he feels like he's got to leave town. I think it's like...
it happens multiple times, where he panics and does some questionable stuff. Usually somebody dies.
Yeah, usually. Over at the junkyard, the cops are all over the place checking out Nodo's and Gonzo's bodies. Forensics are done taking pictures of Gonzo, so they try and lay Big Homie down flat. And by the time they get that done, it's clear that he didn't get killed. Turns out, Gonzo got his arm crushed by a car while trying to move Nodo's body, and he bled out.
Did the cops still have the wrong idea about it? What did they thought that... I think they thought that Nodo was trying to stash his body, or Gonzo was trying to snatch dude's body then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's what they think. And then he got crushed. But he was coming back for the body, and he got crushed. And
I guess in playing devil's advocate for the police. Ugh.
Yeah.
Statements I never thought I'd have to say.
Right?
Playing devil's advocate for the police.
Gross, man. Don't even finish that sentence.
Yeah, because I don't even know what I was going to say. That really took a lot out of me.
It's okay. It's okay, Justin.
No, I mean, but all right. Why would you think? Oh, he must have coming back for the body.
Why would you think that? No, it was because Hank says that
The big one smells fresher. You guys find a death wound?
Mm.
So it must be a more recent one.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was able to deduce that.
Hank's a good cop.
Yeah, that Nodo's died first, and then Gonzo came back for him, trying to move the body, and got crushed and bled out slowly and painfully under a pile of cars. Sheesh.
So, yeah. What an awful way to die.
Back at the crib again, Walt's about to explain to Skyler, but he gets a mysterious phone call and dips outside. Jesse's car pulls up, and when Walt walks up, there's Tuco chilling in the back with a goddamn gun. Yeah, Walter wouldn't have taken Jesse's gun, then Jesse.
It irks me that Walter comes out. It's a trend in Walter and Jesse's interactions throughout the show, and it irks me where it's like he comes out and immediately starts belittling and bitching Jesse. What are you doing here? You know not to come here. He's like, yeah, bro, I know not to come here. So don't you think there's something wrong as to why I'm here right now?
It's that superiority complex. It keeps him from thinking critically when it comes to Jesse.
Yes, very obviously I know I shouldn't be here. I never come here.
Especially at the middle of the night.
What terrible thing could cause me to be here right now, Walter? Use that big brain of yours.
He goes outside without the gun. I mean, he's outside. He sees Jesse's car.
He goes outside to yell at Jesse.
Yeah.
He doesn't go outside for any other reason or else, like, bro, you should have brought the gun at least or something. Jesse's here. Something must be wrong. I should grab the gun.
Yeah.
Not, Jesse's here. What is he doing here? I'm going to give him a piece of my mind.
Like, that wasn't even a little bit sus. The last time... I mean, I guess Jesse does have a habit in season 1 of intruding on Walter's personal life. When he called the house on the phone during breakfast, when he showed up to Walter's house to deliver his half of the, $8,000 that they made.
Shit, whatever, man. I don't know.
I think that it would make more sense. You would relate it back to that. If this episode was in season 1, it would make more sense that Walt might think that.
I still think that with the context of the events they are dealing with more recently,
I have to agree with you. Walt's called off guard, and Tuco forces him into the car. Reluctantly, Walt gets in, and the car rolls off, quiet as hell. And that's the F. The whole no more bloodshed line from the first episode of... No, it was like the 6th episode of season 1. All that is out the window. 2 more people are dead. You got involved with a violent ex-convict. Sociopath, meth addict.
Crazy.
It's like he didn't even remember that he told Jesse that. It's like he wasn't saying that because it was what he believed. He was saying that to belittle Jesse.
Yeah, he was making stupid rules. I don't know. Walter never...
Be ready to follow those rules yourself, though, if you're going to make them.
Well, I'm not Heisenberg. I don't know. Heisenberg doesn't follow anybody's rules.
Is there any point in this show where he's actually the silent partner, or is he doing too much for the whole show?
He's doing too much the whole show. He's doing too much the whole time. Selling meth is doing too much, first of all.
That's episode 1 of season 2. Thanks for tuning in, checking in. We appreciate your attention and your time. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, share the video.
Don't forget, follow it.
Yep, follow. Hit the notification bell. That way you'll see when we drop new content. We have new episodes coming out every week. And thanks for checking us out. Rest in peace, Wes.